work on that now.
I'm just
But
feeling
that's the
like
other one.
either accepted or like forgiveness. It's because when you have an awareness, there's something new coming into your being, and you have a choice of how to respond or react. But sometimes that means accepting or forgiving. There's a depending on what's coming up.
Okay, so I wrote those down and we'll kind of talk through these. So I just started recording. So hi, everybody, because I forgot to start recording at the beginning. I know, total shocker. So we are doing, I went off the rails again, and we're doing an intuitive spell that we're going to do today. So we're starting with a few different words. We're going to kind of put this together as we go. So you can kind of, if you're watching this on video, you can just kind of follow along as we're doing. So does choice and awareness, in terms of those words, do those resonate with the two of you, or do we need to modify those? They do. Okay, perfect. All right, so we're gonna play a little bit. So accepted and forgiveness were some of the other ones. Was there anything that you've kind of been sitting with, Shannon, over the last month or so?
Well, clarity, of course, is the word that's coming up. But like after yesterday's talk, again, I'm a budding artist, right? So I can't really draw. But let's see, had kind of like a seesaw. And then in the middle of awareness and choice, I had written balance.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. So that was the word, as we were talking, I was drawing. I tend to do that nowadays. And that's what came up for me.
Beautiful.
So I'm wondering.
I feel like that might be the outcome of all of this. When you add all those words together, balance comes out.
Yeah. So, and this is part of so when I do my spells, and I kind of treat it almost like you would if you go back to old school writing, when you took that in school and you're putting poetry together and things like that. I take each little section of it, what I'm going to say, in its entirety. Each kind of sentence has a power to it. So I break it up into 3, and I kind of work through what it is that I want this to say, how I want to do it, and I break those up, and I utilize words like, depending on what your belief system is, you can add in, so like I always like to say for my highest good, and I always ask my guides to help, because that's just where I believe we're all connected to source, and I ask for help. I feel like if you don't ask for the help, then they're not gonna just go out and give it to you. You have to take that responsibility. That's where that choice comes in. So you have to ask for the help. So when we form this together, those things will form on an individual basis. So I'll kind of just write it, and then we can work through, if you want to modify it for what works for you, I can help you do that as well, in terms of the writing. But as we do this, we'll break that down. So if right now we have accepted, I'm kind of feeling called more to the accepted than we do forgiveness side of it. And I'm going to change it to acceptance, because I like to have it be more of an action than a past tense. And again, this is just intent. This is the way I like to do things. So that's kind of the way that I walk through it. But if something doesn't resonate, as always, push it aside. So I have acceptance, clarity, and then I have balance. And then obviously the choice and awareness. So if I'm looking at this in terms of a story that we're telling, and what we want our outcome to be, like you said, Lori, balance could be our outcome. So it's an intuitive process. So I kind of just play around with it. So if we look at it like that, where we would like to have balance in our existence be the outcome of what we're doing. My intuitive side goes, well, is it balance that we want as the outcome, or do we want clarity as the outcome? I personally resonate with clarity more than I do balance. Doesn't mean we all have to do the same spell, by the way. We can modify this if it doesn't work for everybody. But I have also been going down that road of clarity. And for me, I choose between, I have so many things that actually pique my interest that it's, and that I'm passionate about, that sometimes it's difficult for me to actually find that choice. So this whole process kind of has been the choice, the awareness in actually what I want to choose. So having clarity in my awareness. So they kind of all, flow in different, it's not necessarily the end result. Sometimes it's the beginning for me, but it's that finding clarity, that completion is where I'm resonating currently. But I want to talk through this so you can see where you're pulling in. So you said, Lori, that you thought that balance might be the end result.
If
So
we're
if-
combining everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know what you were doing, so.
Yep. No, that's fine. So if you're combining, does balance feel like what you want to focus on for your end result on that? Or do you?
Ultimately, but it would, for me, in my process, it would require acceptance too, because my awareness is something I don't like. I don't like it, so I have to now accept that before I can find balance.
Yeah. So your clarity is coming first. So we'll
Yes.
okay. All right. And Shannon, you're feeling clarity towards the end.
Yeah, that's just kind of where I'm leaning towards these days.
Yep. So we'll write these kind of, I'm sorry, go ahead. It's cutting out for me a little bit, so I didn't realize you were still talking.
So I think you froze, Shannon.
She did.
Rose?
Yeah.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
Now we're back.
And I was like, you started, I heard like and I was like, oh, I'm talking over her, but I didn't know you were talking because I was cutting out.
I was just saying that balance would be nice once in a while too.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So we'll do these kind of in two things. All right. So if we're coming from the place of the place of awareness, and then we're looking at acceptance in there, which Lori, you were saying you have to.
I'm on step A. You guys might be ahead. That's perfectly
No,
fine.
yeah, and that's what it's. This is the goal of this, is that it's going to do all of these things in the time that's best for each individual, right? So, yeah, so we're looking at what we want this to do for us over the next coming months or weeks, or depending on how it works in our own lives, because each one is going to be individual. And I think it'll grab hold of, wherever we are in that moment. So if we're looking at what we want to feel in this, so we want clarity. What is the emotion that comes with that clarity that we want to have at the end, and that balance? We'll put the two words for right now. We'll play with both of them. So what is the emotional outcome at the end of that? Where are we feeling? Where are we sitting?
Feels tough because it's future. So.
Right. Well, think of it as now. Right. So every spell that we actually will do this is something that's now. We're speaking it into life, into existence as we say it. So we're not saying, I want to bring this into my life. We are saying, this is part of my life now. This is what is in my life. It has already been decided. We're casting this as a done thing, right?
Yep.
And that's kind of my feeling on everything. Because I think words, even though you don't form them and spend this time on it, everything in a sense is magical, right? It's a spell. You're putting it out there. There's energy in that idea or emotion. So if we're speaking it, that's why all that negative self-talk is so negative, right? So if we're speaking it, speak it as if it is there. Don't say, I want to have this new job. I've got this new job. It's here already. So think of it in terms of that.
All right, you go first, Anna. What do you think?
It's a slow process. And that's partly why, like I said, I wanted to sit in it,
Yeah.
Well, to me, if I had complete clarity of of what and who I completely spiritual.
We're losing you again.
Yeah, I'm getting every other word.
Yeah, it's like a game we're playing. Complete clarity. Oh no, she's gonna come back on. We'll give her a second. How are you?
Okay, I'm okay. Yeah, I could talk about my word, but I think it's more about, I want to land with balance around like loving connections. Because sometimes I overextend myself, so that blurs the boundaries between people. So that's where I'm heading towards. What's real versus what's not. Ooh, here we
So
go.
maybe yours is more the awareness side then. Maybe you're
That's the
aware.
start of it. I mean, I know it logically, but it's getting there emotionally is a different process.
Well, that's what I mean. Maybe that's the end and not the beginning for you. Maybe this process is to bring the awareness in so that you have the balance. So like it's more you being able to recognize.
Yep.
Which is
Perfect.
clarity, actually. If you
Yep.
look at it like that.
Hi,
I
Shannon.
didn't do that on purpose. Welcome back. You're muted. We can't hear you still if you talk. What does this say about about living your truth right now and speaking it into existence, that you are having trouble breaking through this technology right now? What do we need to dive into? Oh no. I think we lost you.
Right before this, I did a soul scribble. Can you guys hear me still?
I'm
Yes.
hearing now,
Okay.
yes.
So anyway, if I can pull it up. And the soul scribble came out to this guy.
Oh,
The message that I got from my soul was that I'm hiding behind a mask and that I'm like incognito. Okay, which I thought was very interesting, which actually goes along with, okay, I'm incognito, I'm searching for clarity of who I really am or what I really am. Okay.
Yes.
And to that emotion, if I knew, again, I have that thought experience of, yes, I'm a spiritual being having a human experience.
Yep.
But do I really understand it or believe it? And if I felt that understanding and really believed it, it would just be a deep sense of peace, that I'm just on another journey, right? That, there's still that little, you're just a little peon, you're just a little ant someone's going to squish, or, because you never know. I mean, that's what this whole process is about, is getting to that point of self-discovery of, it's just all of an experience, a journey. I'm just trying to accept that. Be aware.
Yeah. So it's peace. Peace was one of the words that came for me too. It's peace in the process in order to enjoy the journey.
I love that.
All right, I'm writing that down.
me too.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Peace in the process in order to enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
And I will put in front of that, I have found. I have found peace in the process in order to enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
And so with that, we have one of our three already written out, right? And
Let's see.
what's that?
I really had to go first.
Well, we can move them around. We don't necessarily, because we got that first, doesn't mean it's, it's there. We're just writing it. So, but it's in, you follow what I'm doing, right? I'm digging into it, digging into each thing and each process in order to do it. And I love that we're doing this organically as a group, right? Because then that just adds more power to it. And there's also 3 of us here today, which is kind of cool. As much as I absolutely miss Christina coming in, that power of 3 adds to that, dynamic as we're putting this together. Everything happens for, a reason. There's a balance to it. All right, so we'll move this up here. So I'm just kind of scribbling along. All right, so we've got that kind of core, what we want to get out of it. So this is where I like to put in, if there's a piece of this that we've been talking about that we find particularly difficult. So, you were talking about that acceptance, Lori. This is where we want to pull something together where we're specifically calling on a little bit more attention to this area. So it's, and we're asking for help in all of it, but we want to bring the focus in a little bit on this particular area. So we're each probably going to have something different that we want that focus to be. I can help us write all 3, all 3 of ours, but it's essentially bringing it in in order to find peace in the process, to enjoy that journey. What is that part of this that you're struggling with the most? So Laura, you mentioned acceptance on yours.
Right, because sometimes we ask for clarity and we're all excited about that. And then when it comes, sometimes it's here. So it's like, okay, this is what I'm asking for. And now I'm recognizing some truths about myself that need some attention or work. And it's not always good news, or it doesn't feel like good news at first, but it's liberating news regardless, because it's going to move you forward. So I just want to recognize that sometimes clarity, you don't know what you're asking for until it comes. And then you have to accept whatever that is in order to move lovingly forward. You know what I mean?
So this could be taking that and acknowledging that fact of it and looking for that, or making that statement, I will lovingly accept, or I will see with loving eyes. I will, something to that effect, where you're calling out that your awareness that this is going to be something, or could potentially be something that may be a struggle, but you're going to allow that. You're going to allow that to sit in it, and you're going to love the awareness, even if you're not totally comfortable with the outcome or the information, I should say.
Right. I think the outcome is always pushing us forward. It's just sometimes a struggle, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Shannon, you look like you had a brainstorm right in the middle of that.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out the wording in it. I lovingly accept the awareness that I receive, the clarity that I receive, or
Yep. Yeah, it's one thing to ask, and then you're like, oh.
I lovingly accept the clarity that comes forward.
Yeah. I'm famous for asking way more than I understand. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. Thanks, Shannon. That's good.
Yep, it's beautiful. So we have, I lovingly accept the clarity that comes forward. I have found peace in the process in order to enjoy the journey.
Yes.
And I'm feeling like I'm feeling like the choices that we make are, like, I want to get that in terms of,
Okay, how about this? The choices that I make from clarity bring me balance. The choices that I make with clarity, I don't know, the choices.
yeah, I'm thinking, I think you want to keep it more of a, you want to simplify it a little bit more. Like, that's why we do the 3, so that they each can kind of stand on its own. So this one is more just about acknowledging those choices that you have made and will make it, that lead you to this path that you're on. So it's having, so the lovingly accept with the clarity, you're kind of reminding yourself to look at it in a loving manner. Whereas with the choices, I'm talking more about the allowing yourself to make the choices that do bring you that balance. So it's almost like giving yourself permission to have your voice be heard in a way that is true to you. So as you're going through this process and you're finding the clarity and you're finding the peace in the process, we need that last little bit of empowering you to go out into the world with this new truth as you're finding it.
I allow myself to make choices that bring me balance.
Yeah, I could see that. If I'm questioning whether or not that's powerful enough. It's empowering enough. Because what I'm wanting, so right now we have, I lovingly accept the clarity that comes forward. I have found peace in the process in order to enjoy the journey. I walk with my truth. I allow myself to walk with my truth, or I allow myself to live in my new awareness, or, you know what I mean? We're looking to empower yourself to actually step into what you've discovered and live it.
Which is still the loving thing to do. So if you're gonna if you're gonna choose the path of love or choose the most loving thing that you can do, you're gonna find balance naturally. So just playing with words.
Mm-hmm.
Choose love in a way that brings me balance, something like that. When I choose from love, I find balance, or I am balanced. I don't know where you're coming from. That feels like something from I feel like Shannon and I played with the other 2. This one feels like yours.
Me?
I don't know. You came up with it first, so I'm just saying what resonates with you.
Well, like I said, we can all have different ones too if it's resonating. I'm just looking for more of that total acceptance of this choice and the awareness in the way that you're actually walking it around. So this is about, because we're in this living your truth month, right?
Yes.
So this is about living what you have come to the conclusions of. So that it's not just that you've found peace in the process and you're enjoying the journey. It's you're going after all of that. You're allowing yourself to blossom, to step into this new awareness, to so you accept the clarity.
Okay, I just put my new awareness allows me to make choices that bring balance.
All right, so let's say all that out.
Make choices in balance. What did you say?
that bring balance.
That bring balance. All right, so we have,
So if I do it like this, so I lovingly accept the clarity that comes forward. I allow my new I'm sorry, my bad. I lovingly accept the clarity that comes forward. My new awareness allows me to make choices that bring balance. I have found peace in the process in order to enjoy the journey.
Nice.
How does that feel? I'll say it again. So I lovingly accept the clarity that comes forward. My new awareness allows me to make choices that bring balance. I have found peace in the process in order to enjoy the journey.
I like that a lot. It's like a very nice poem.
I kind of want to say, I have found peace in the process in order to enjoy the journey and walk my truth.
oh, yeah,
There you go. Yeah. Sounds more firm that way.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to get across. I want to be, it's that empowered statement. I want to own it. I want to walk into this with the energy that none of us have at this particular moment.
What are you saying?
Now, what did I say? Because I didn't write it down. And walk,
and walk in my truth. You just added and walk in
Yeah,
my truth,
yep.
right?
and walk
yep.
in my truth. All right. So we'll say this one more time. So I lovingly accept the clarity that comes forward.
Mhm.
My new awareness allows me to make choices that bring balance. I have found peace in the process in order to enjoy the journey and walk in my truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's powerful, I think.
I can feel that. Yes.
Yeah. I have to write this on another piece of paper though, because
It needs its own.
I get scribbles everywhere. I'll rip this guy out.
I'll write it down with you unless you're gonna post. Are you gonna post this?
What's that?
Are you gonna post this or should I take it down?
I am a believer that it is going to be more powerful for you if you write the words.
Go slow then.
I think there is magic in that. Yep, I will. All right. So the first one is, I lovingly accept the clarity that comes forward. So I lovingly accept the clarity that comes forward.
Mhm.
My new awareness allows me to make choices that bring balance. A new awareness allows me to make choices that bring balance. And the last one is, I have found peace in the process in order to enjoy the journey and walk in my truth. So I have found peace in the process in order to enjoy the journey and walk in my truth.
Mhm. I like that last part. Nice addition. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I was,
Words are so powerful.
yeah, exactly. The words are powerful, and that's why I was kind of pushing us through, you know, and I appreciate your willingness to kind of work through that process and move those words around. I think it's important to find what resonates and to spend the time, because that's part of it as well, right? You're putting that energy into that moment. Now, sometimes you'll feel it right away, but if you can feel it in your body when it's not quite right? So just keep going. All right, so So this is for clarity, balance, and peace.
Mhm. Yep.
And obviously, this is something that we do now. You can do this repeatedly. You know, you can. It could be mantra. It could be in a painting that gets painted over. Whatever feels good. So what we're gonna do now is if you have a candle, we're gonna light it, and we're gonna take a second and kind of clear the creative energy that we were working with and connect a little bit more to ourselves and connect a little bit to source and clear that circle so that we can go ahead and call in for a little bit of help as I undo my bracelet that was attached to my shirt. That was not supposed to be. All right, so I'm gonna have everybody we're gonna take 3 deep breaths. We'll do this in threes too. So we're gonna take 3 deep cleansing breaths in through the nose and sigh it all the way out. Ready? And again. My whole air just shifted. I love that beautiful moment when it does that. So we're gonna now, I kind of call it cleansing my column. Probably need to find a better terminology for that, but I envision that I am surrounded kind of like in a hula hoop size cylinder, and going all the way up to source, all the way down to the center of the earth. And I kind of just imagine it coming all the way down and clearing right out and going all the way through, all the way on the sides, all the way down your whole body, down through your feet, down into the earth, all the way to the center of the earth. And just connecting as one bright light that's connecting us all the way through. Just bringing us into that space where we are one, and feeling the energy from source come in. And at this time, calling in all of our spirit guides and those who individually we work with. Calling in the powers that you work with and believe in to come in and assist us in casting the spell and putting power in these words and into bringing life to what it is that we're asking for in our heart, all for our highest good. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to light the candle. We ask that you bring power to our words. We seek clarity. We seek balance. We seek peace. I lovingly accept the clarity that comes forward. My new awareness allows me to make choices that bring balance. I have found peace in the process in order to enjoy the journey and walk in my truth. I lovingly accept the clarity that comes forward. My new awareness allows me to make choices that bring balance. I have found peace in the process in order to enjoy the journey and walk in my truth. I lovingly accept the clarity that comes forward. My new awareness allows me to make choices that bring balance. I have found peace in the process in order to enjoy the journey and walk in my truth. And so it is. And I'm going to let this guy burn out with us while we spend our last minutes pulling some cards and having some fun. As always, I like to keep them with us while we pull some cards. I have a few stones with me today. I have some labradorite, which is, I don't know if we can see, I don't know if it'll go. It doesn't want to, oh, there it went.
Oh, there you go. Tilt it. There you go.
Yeah, the light's kind of hitting it funky, but
Mm-hmm.
it's one of my favorite pieces. I feel a lot of energy right now. We've got some blue kyanite with us today.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I actually have two. I grabbed these two guys, which I think I know what they are, but I'm not sure, so I'm not going to tell you. But they're blue. The first time I saw a blue rock, I was like, what is this magical stuff? There is a blue rock in the world. Still astonishes me.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna pull from two different decks. Actually, I have three decks, so I'll let you guys pick here in a second. Show me yes. Show me no. Show me I don't know. Okay. It's always the same. I don't know why I even ask anymore, but it's always the same. So I have this deck.
Yep, there we go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I like. And then I have my Good Tarot deck, which I love. So I will choose for each of you. And then I also have so much energy right now. I love it. And then I have my Witch's Oracle deck.
Cool.
So Shannon, I will go with you first. So which one of those three decks called to you initially?
Do the Witch's Oracle.
Yay.
I'm feeling some witchy power today.
I love it. I love it. Such a pretty deck too. So I'm gonna let my guides choose this one for you. And we're gonna use my pendulum for this. And if you're watching this on replay, this is one of the reasons why it's really important for you to join us in person. Because we do extra fun things. Getting mixed signals at the moment. Okay, I'm not sure how to say it. Bastet. Let's see.
I can't see the word. Yeah, go with that.
Ooh,
That's
it's
it.
like a kitty cat in there and stars
yeah.
and stuff. Ooh, I can't wait to find out what this one's all about. All right, let's see.
Psychic Kitty.
I love it. All right, pronounce Bastet. Oh, look at that. Bastet may be known for being a fun-loving, gentle, motherly figure.
Oh.
I mean, I'm one sentence in, guys. But she has a strong sense of justice that will make itself known. Don't underestimate those with a kind demeanor. They can be the toughest of characters.
Mhm.
So we'll examine that in a minute. I'm going to read the myth. I'm going to read the myth behind it. So in Egyptian mythology, Bastet was an aspect of an older lioness goddess who seemed to have split in two. She became Bastet, representing the gentler, motherly house cat side, and Sekhmet, a warrior goddess. Ooh, I like it, warrior goddess. Bastet had a giant temple in Bubastis, Egypt, and according to Herodotus, hundreds of thousands attended her boozy festivals. In one tale, Bastet, acting like a cat with a mouse, gets to punish a prince who dares to steal a book from a tomb. He's cautioned to return the book, but as he waves off the advice, he happens to catch sight of a woman. She's the most beautiful woman he's ever seen. Her name is Tabua, the daughter of a priest of Bastet. To his great joy, she's conveniently single and is happy to head back to his place. When they arrive, though, she makes demands before granting her favor. The prince must sign over all his property and possessions to her. He quickly agrees, signs his papers, and moves with no small amount of haste to embrace her. But no, Tabubu, yeah, I said it wrong first time, has another condition. She is worried his children will try to fight the deal. Would he please have them come over and sign too? The prince sighs, the children come over, and with no other option, sign the papers. The prince moves yet again to embrace her, but Tabubu, now dressed in a sheer gown and nothing else, stops him. She says she is still worried that the children might be a problem. Would he please just go ahead and kill all of his children? Completely, I love all of these stories. Completely beside himself with desire and longing, the prince does the cruel deed. But when he turns around and finally embraces the naked Tabubu, she falls away from his hands. The walls around him disappear as well, and he finds himself nude in the street with undesirables in a clay pot. I'll let you imagine the moral of this tale. So the
Shannon.
Yeah.
No. I was going to say Shannon should define that. I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Well, we won't go into the myth aspect of it. We'll just talk about the meaning aspect of it. But I like to read the myth because the woman who designed this deck, so it's the Witches of Legend.
Gotcha.
I'll take good pictures and put them in the group, but it's the Witches of Legend deck. But she researched all of these different witches and goddesses and everything else, and then she took what she got out of it and put it in, and then she did the meaning behind it. So the meaning was, don't underestimate those with a kind demeanor. They can be the toughest of characters. I have a theory on this, but I would like to hear your thoughts first before I jump in with mine.
Oh, it's my
That's
turn.
you.
It's your card, honey. Yeah.
I'm not going there.
I'm sure Lori has thoughts too, but yeah.
I just heard balls in a jar. I don't know.
I know.
No, I can totally relate. I mean, I'm a pretty laid back person, and kind of, at least when my kids were growing up, kind of stay in the background, but I was there with my kids. But oh my gosh, you did something to my kids. I was a mama bear, and you just didn't. One of the things that when my kids were in school, now bless his heart, Robert was always in trouble with the teachers, and it's not because he was a bad kid. He just, as he told his third grade teacher, I have better things to do than sit here and listen to you talk, which he did. He grew up on a 300-acre farm. He was, wanted to be on the tractor with his dad. So I was always in conference with the teachers. And if something ever happened, I would go and talk with the teacher. Tell me what happened. Let me hear both sides of the story. I wanted both sides of the story. Mm-hmm. And that was I had a teacher actually pull me aside at one time and say, you are the only parent that does that. Everybody else is like, how could you do this to my kid? And I'm like, well, I want to find out what the problem is so it doesn't happen again. Mm-hmm. But if you like Chelsea hardly ever got in trouble, but one day she didn't want to go to school, which was not like her, and it was kindergarten. And I was like, okay, what's going on? And finally went and talked to her teacher, and Chelsea and her little friend got in trouble for nothing really, but her teacher was like, well, she and little Princess Erica needed to be put in their place. And I'm like, they're kindergartners.
My goodness.
They're kidding, I mean, it was just
Yeah.
like so yes, I was a mama bear, and I said,
Yeah.
this has to stop. They're good
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Quit. So again, I understand. Yeah, I'm gonna be kind and nice and stuff, but you mess with my family, you can trample over me a lot more than you can over my family before
Yeah.
I become fierce. So
I just, and I don't know if this is me or if I got a download, I'm not sure. It didn't seem like a download, but sometimes it comes in, I don't know. I immediately thought of your brother and the idea that you are like that mama bear mentality is kind of coming in with him and what you feel like he's not doing. So it's part of that letting go of making those decisions for him. I'm gonna look it back up again because I forgot what the last sentence was, but that was kind of like the don't underestimate those. They can be the toughest of characters, and that's what's been happening. So he's been underestimating you because you have been so kind and doing all these different things, and now it's at that point where the kindness is going away because you're just like, look, you got a mama bears come out now, and you're like, hey, you've got to do this stuff. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And so it's that balance, I think, where you're still need to find where you stop and he starts, and allow that other that's where I got it, where I immediately went to it. But that could just be because we were talking about it too. So. Lauren,
yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Did you have you're welcome. Did you have a particular deck that you were called to?
Let's see. What's the other two? The good deck?
So I've got the Good Tarot, and then I've got this new
A new one. Never seen those.
the Brady Tarot.
Yeah.
All right. This one is I haven't done a lot of work with this one yet, but I like it.
Yeah.
I like reading this one. This is our.
Oh, I have a bigger one, so it's not really.
I have an actual spell candle. It's a little tiny guy. It's the first time I bought like just the spell. They're little minis, and I love them. They just they're like a 20-minute burn or something like that. They're really nice. All right, I'll turn this down a little bit so you can see better how it works. So.
You do that so fast. That's great.
You got the High Priestess.
Ooh. I like the owl. Look at that. Very cool.
I'll send you the picture of that too. So I'm gonna read the I'm gonna read the book, but I'm gonna look at it first.
Yep.
So the owl is actually holding a feather in his beak, it looks like.
Interesting.
And I'm trying to figure out what's at the bottom there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like it's like hanging. I'm getting my light out.
Ah. I was walking with Maisie and a bird flew overhead and a feather dropped from the bird and landed on right on top of Maisie's head. I saved the feather.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. These might be feathers hanging. I'm not sure. We're gonna see. All right, so but I'm getting kind of like a care and a wisdom kind of vibe. Like, and this might be completely different than what's on this, what's actually saying on this card, but it's like, like, you know what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
You know what you're supposed to be doing. You just don't want to do it. It is kind of the vibe I'm getting from this guy. Like you have the wisdom, but you're still holding on to something, which is not what the High Priestess card is about, but that's what I'm getting when I look at it.
Okay.
All right, so inspiration and aspiration, which is to say breathing in and breathing out, the darkness that balances the magician's light, the creative feminine power of intuition as compared to the magician's consciousness, mystery, silence, for owls fly without any noise of flapping wings. Those who know do not speak, those who speak do not know. The creative power of solitude, especially with her companion owl card, the Hermit. The picture shows an Arctic snowy owl, her whiteness and adaptation to its environment, but also an emblem of both purity and mystery. She holds an eagle feather in her mouth, a connection both to heaven and the magician before her. In fact, creative raven, magician, and silent owl, the high priestess, are both opposites and partners. She stands upon a rippling veil that hides the half moon, though we can see it subtly through the lighter portion of the veil. Amy writes, not a time to question, a time to listen and act on intuition. At the same time, we see the high priestess's traditional triple moon symbol on the shaman stick on the right side of the veil. The left stick holds burning sage, widely used by priestesses, shamans, and witches to purify and cleanse the air. The sage also symbolizes divine knowledge of spiritual truth. Notice the pun between sage, the plant, and sage, a wise person. At the bottom right, we see a small Arctic lemming, a major part of the snowy owl's diet. The high priestess of the wilderness is not nurturing or gentle. She signifies the wisdom of life in its natural cycles. That's deep.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I know. I don't know what to take in on all that.
This is your card again if you want to see it. And I'll send you a picture.
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
Now, if I take what I was getting out of it versus versus what the card is.
Yeah.
It's that whole the intuition. You know that it's not a time to question, it's a time to listen and act on intuition.
Right.
The high priestess is not nurturing or gentle. She signifies the wisdom of life in its natural cycles.
Yeah.
The creative power of solitude. Like, I don't know, I feel like you've been on this internal journey for a while, and you've been it just ended.
Oh,
I love that. You've been on this journey where you're discovering things that maybe are difficult along the way, and maybe that's a call to not think about it, just into it, you know, just go with what that intuition is giving you. And it's not loving in this case. It's a harsh break. It's an understanding of this is what it is. This is what I need to do. Accept that and step forward into the loving, you know, but the act of it is not necessarily a loving. It's just it's a harsh, it's a quick. Again, I could be all wet, but that's
Yeah, no.
that's what I get out of it.
Yeah.
Do we want to add or say anything else before I clear
No,
this out?
I'm still sifting through clarity, but I feel like that's coming. So I'm with you, Shannon. Clarity.
Yeah, it's an ongoing process for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, that I speak all the time about, you know, enjoying the journey, and I'm walking towards joy and being in the moment. I mean, that's my general, you know, kind of way of wanting to walk in the world. And at the same time, it's overwhelming to figure out who I am right now. Like, that's been kind of my journey, where I've been stuck in that phase of the process of rediscovering me and what, like you said earlier, Shannon, like what is real and what isn't, and what is, you know, what do I need to be, what is true for me? Like, what is that truth? And that's where that clarity comes in, is just allowing that awareness and standing in it once you find it, and in the acknowledgement that we only have the moment that we're in. We can't do anything about yesterday. We can plan for tomorrow, but it hasn't happened yet. We don't know what's going to happen, and anything could break apart at any moment. And I don't say that in a negative, you know, oh, the sky is falling way. I say that in this moment, this one that we're in right now, that's where the beauty is. If you can find your ways to, like you said, Shannon, earlier too, that to recognize that you are a spiritual being having a human existence, and all of those things that we harp on and we stress about and we, you know, we collect and we do, you know, and I'm a collector. I just bought another crystal that I wasn't supposed to buy. Like, you should see these amethysts. They're so pure. They're gorgeous. Anyway, I digress. But having that, you know, that just being in that moment and having that ability to say, this is it. Like, all of those other things, that those human things that I think I need, what is it that I really need? When you break it all down into its purest form, it's the love, it's the people that are in our lives that we want in our lives, and it's those moments that we have, those joyful moments that we have. So if we can just collect as many of those as we go, that's peace in that process, just collecting moments of joy. I'm going to have us do 3 deep breaths to just kind of clear ourselves back out. And as always, I'm appreciative to all of you guides that are helping me all the time. So we'll do 3 deep breaths. And just have that awareness of that column that we have connected ourselves from source all the way to the ground, and allowing that connection to remain in a way that serves us, but that closes the circle so that we can move freely. And I want to say thank you. for walking on this journey with me. I appreciate both of you.
It was awesome. That was actually very helpful to ground. So thank you.
You are very welcome. This is life for me. So, I
Get
enjoy
caught
it.
in my head. So this is nice to let that go.
I find the spelling part of witchery, which I've completely embraced over the last few years, I found that part of it for me is very mindful. It brings me into the spaces that you can get to with yoga and meditation and those kind of things. I do that with spelling as well. And just by taking those, because in general in life, we don't take the time for things most of the time, right? We're rushing through, we're doing all the things as fast as we can do them or whatever. And we gifted ourselves this hour to spend together and do this, as a community and create this magic together as a community in a way that allowed us to slow down and follow our intuition at that time and adjust, and I appreciate you for allowing that intuitive side to kick in and, throw out the plan and just jump in and do what intuitively called for. I think if we can do that more in life, we can allow that to happen more in life, put out those schedules and that need for control, which is, something that you all know that I work on all the time. Like if you can allow those things to slide away as much as you can and allow yourself to flow, which was my word of the year, to just flow and go with, what comes in front of you, then it might make that journey a little bit easier and a little bit more peaceful. Yes. As we go. Thank you all so much. I'm going to stop recording and I will see you guys all. I'm going to see you again.
First week of the month. Seems like a faraway place.
I think that's what it is. I think it is the first Tuesday at noon.
Yep.
All right. We will